Good evening, dear viewers of Divine Mercy Radio Television, and welcome to this program, Mountain Echoes, this evening, Thursday, the 19th of June 2025, where we shall be thrilling you on the World Day of Hate Speech that we celebrated yesterday, 18th of June 2025, under the theme, hate speech and artificial intelligence, nexus, building coalitions to reclaim inclusive and safe spaces free of hatred. That was the theme of the celebration yesterday, 18th of June 2025, about hate speech and artificial intelligence. During our program, this 1 hour plus or 2 hours, I may say, we shall be focusing on the topic countering hate speech, building peace with words, how to counter hate speech in daily life. Before unveiling the cat out of the basket, we wish to introduce to us the guests we shall have, or our panelists for this session this evening. I am your host, Father Alphonse Wongibe Fonyoy, Parochial Vicar of St. Charles Longa Parish, Moliko Boya. And at my right, we have Madame Yuven Juliana from the Northwest region of Cameroon, of course. You say Yuven, it means I'm a country person. Good evening, Madam, and welcome on board.
Good evening, Father. Good evening, fellow viewers, and welcome to this very important topic to counter hate speech and promote peace building within our communities. Thank you so much.
Okay, the pleasure is mine. I'm happy to have you here as my tribesperson. Not that the church is not tribalistic, but there are always affiliations with those who come out from the same region, the same zone, or from the same area. And while waiting for those who are still to join us here on board, they are still on their way. You will know what is happening here in Fako Division, the traffic here and there. We shall be expecting Dr. Nan and Annette, Mr. Ngateng Donald, and Mr. Joseph Efeswa, who are on their way. They shall be joining us in a jiffy. But without wasting much time, we shall introduce to you the topic of discussion today and get on board while awaiting these resource persons to come and join us whenever they arrive, so that we should deliberate on this World International Day for Countering Hate Speech, which took place yesterday, 18th of June 2025, under the theme Hate Speech and Artificial Intelligence Nexus, building coalitions to reclaim inclusive and safe spaces free of hatred. But I dare remind you, the topic of discussion, which you'll find right there on your screen in a jiffy, is countering hate speech, building peace with words, how to counter hate speech in our daily life. So to begin straight away, there is this person, a very resourceful person in the world of communication as a whole, known as Marshall McLuhan, who says the world is a global village. We communicate every now and then, and due to communication, we are interconnected in one way or the other. And apart from his universal known phrase or axiom, which states that the world is a global village, he is also known for the statement that the medium is the message, which means whatever medium we use to pass across a message impacts communities. If that medium is positive, it builds up communities. If it's negative, it leads to disintegration of communities. That's where hate speech does come. Marshall McLuhan. So to begin straight away on my right, Madame Yuven Juliana, looking at the topic we have today, countering hate speech, building peace with words, how to counter hate speech in daily life. I would like you first of all to drill our viewers, those watching us live here at the foot of Mount Fako at DMR TV. What is hate speech all about? That is the very first thing. And yesterday that we celebrated this World Day commemorating the International Day for Hate Speech. What is your personal sentiment of such? Is there a need to commemorate such days in our nation, in our world?
Thank you very much, Reverend Father, for this wonderful opportunity. I think, as you have explained, this particular topic, hate speech, is very important because it contributes to the well-being of our people. It contributes to the development and peaceful communities. Now, first of all, what is hate speech?
Yes.
In my opinion, hate speech is a form of communication or words that incite violence that incite discrimination and hatred among people in such a way that when such words are being voiced out, it causes a kind of hatred. It causes pain to the individual upon which those words are referred upon. And it is usually done based on an individual's religion, an individual's ethnic group, nationality, the skin color, educational background, tribes, and all of that, sexual orientation, and all of that. And you see that when such words are being altered on you, there is a kind of way that it communicates that makes you feel hated, that makes you feel discriminated, that makes you feel unloved. And that is why I think combating hate speech is very important. And now, if you see that the world has come together with this particular theme or with this particular day to commemorate hate speech, it is because they have seen that this particular hate speech in particular, it has caused a lot of division among people, among communities, among friends, among families. Now, I want to take us back to when this crisis just started.
Yes, 2016.
Yes, you could hear a lot of people before then. Let me not even say during the crisis. Before then, I used to hear this word graphy. And when I left Kumbo back then in 2017, I came here in the Southwest region. I just completed from my high school. I came. And, I was still looking very naive, very tender, very timid. And one day I went to UB to look for, to acquire a Form B. So when I went, I met a group of, girls standing. And with my naivety, with my innocence, with my timidity, one just looked at me and said, this one na JJC. Graphy.
Yes.
I could feel a type. By then I not even understood what hate speech was all about. But I could feel intimidated. I could feel like those people didn't need me or want me around them. That is what hate speech does. And immediately when I felt somehow I had to leave that environment because I felt like I wasn't welcome there. And it somehow distracted my purpose of going to UB on that particular day. I left the school, I wasn't feeling fine. And now this goes back to the families. Sometimes you see children living in a family, in a household. Some of them might not be from the same parents, but they keep uttering words like, look at you, you are this, you are that. And even though at that point in time, a child cannot necessarily speak out, but there is something negative that it inculcates in that child's mind. And the aftermath is very dangerous. Sometimes when they grow and the child becomes of reasoning age, those words start resurfacing. And it incites, hatred, division, family division. Because why should I be your cousin and you keep offering words like, look at you, you come from this kind of a family, or look at you, do you people do this in your family, look at me, look at my family, and all of that. And honestly speaking, Father, a lot of families are practicing hate speech, a lot of communities. For instance, there was a time, I think, if not last year, but some months behind, where it happened in a civil society platform. It was like a kind of attack to those coming from the grass field. They say people are coming here and poaching and buying land back in the Northwest. What is wrong if you have your money and you can buy a piece of land and you develop?
Since it's not borrowed or it's not
borrowed,
it's paid for.
It's paid for. Value for value. What is wrong if I have if I have my money, I come to you, I say, okay, Mola, sell me. Do you have a piece of land? You say yes, sell it to me. Are we not developing the community? So when you see all of these things, it has created a lot of division among friends, division among families, division among communities, and all of that. And that is why when you look at even our laws, it criminalizes. When you look at the penal code, it criminalizes hate speech. You look at the law on cyber security and cyber criminality, it penalizes hate speech. And I think the particular topic for today is very important because it's going to raise awareness among our people, among individuals, among households, among communities on what hate speech is all about, and on how we can work together as a people, as a unified children of God, to see how we can combat hate speech and live together as one.
Yeah, I think that's very, very beautiful input. The Madame Juven Juliana regarding hate speech are giving us a definition that is public speech that expresses hate or encourages violence towards a person or a group of persons based on either their race, religion, sex, or sexual orientation. I think with that already we know what hate speech is all about. Subsequently, we shall also look what artificial intelligence, because the topic or the theme for yesterday's International Day for Countering Hate Speech was hate speech and an artificial intelligence nexus, building coalitions to reclaim inclusive and safe spaces free of hatred. When you were speaking, I was struck in one way or the other regarding the hate speech from the point of view, your arrival there in UB, they say JJC, Johnny just come, that Graphy, they have come here again.
Yes, they have
but
come.
Prior to us becoming perhaps Graphy, Northwest, or So, or Bakwiri, or Bassa, and the rest, we are first of all Cameroonians, or we are first of all human beings.
Yeah.
That's what unites us, and that is why St. Paul was very clear. In Christ we are one. There is neither Jew nor Greek. We are all one in Christ Jesus, which means when we counter hate speech, it will really help to build up communities and help us to grow in our day-to-day living. It is a clarion call for us all, as we celebrated this day yesterday, to see how to know what we communicate or what we ooze out of our mouths should be to words to build rather than to destroy. And that's why I keep going back to this renowned scholar of communication, Marshall McLuhan, who says the message, the medium is the message, which means how or what we pass across, we get the message there just by saying graphic or JJC. That medium is already the message that is contained there. We say that, okay, they don't want these persons and the rest. Thank you for that beautiful insights regarding that. Now, turning back, we have two concepts here. We have already known what hate speech is all about. What about artificial intelligence? You know, now it has become the order of the day. Students now don't even study again. They don't know how to spell words anymore. Everything is GPT chat, AI and the rest. They just type assignments and they go or they edit. For those who are even
vibrant enough.
Those who are vibrant enough, they edit the work and they provide them to doctors or professors in universities. And if professors and doctors are not capable of taking time to go through the work, this is a very good work done. So what is this artificial intelligence? First of all, what is it all about?
I think I am not very good in
AI,
science and technology.
Okay.
But I think it's a new technology tool that has been set aside to facilitate. I don't want to say to educate, but to facilitate learning in diverse ways. And just like you said, when you get to artificial intelligence, whether they call it a chat GPT or whatever information you request, Mr. AI, he's always very friendly. Yes, he's always very friendly. He will welcome you in a very nice way, in a very nice manner, and he will explain to you everything that you want to learn. But one thing I appreciate about Mr. AI is the fact that it is not everything you ask him that he will give you the information, because they have their policies.
Okay.
And their policies, they have standardized certain things that you ask that will not violate their policies.
Okay.
Now, coming back to how we can use artificial intelligence to combat hate speech, I think artificial intelligence, first of all, it's a tool of communication.
Okay.
And for whatsoever information that we get into or to request from Mr. AI, it should be geared towards promoting peace, promoting peaceful cohabitation among families, among communities, among nations, in fact, generally in the world. Now, the other day I was talking with I think a teacher. I've never met him before, but we were just discussing something, and Mr. AI had to come in, and he said something that I really liked. He said artificial intelligence has come to kill. It has come to kill the human capacity. Yeah. Why? Because sometimes you don't even have the time to think. You don't have to the time to put your things constructively. In as much as you know, okay, what is in artificial intelligence? Pam, pam, pam. Within 1 second, it has given to you. So it doesn't give you that opportunity to operate within your original self, within your natural self. So he said in the forum that, okay, if we have to introduce children in this artificial intelligence stuff, it means we are limiting our children's creativity, because our children will not be able to think within their ambit. They will not be able to do things naturally. They will just depend on it. So in as much as we are criticizing the fact that artificial intelligence has come to limit the human capacity, I think that it has also come as a tool to help us to perfect our communication skills, so much such that whatever message you are passing across to the community, to the people, it should be well refined in a way that portrays love, portrays peace, portrays unity, and all of that.
Yes, thank you so much once more, Madame Yuven Juliana, for having defined to us these two key words of our program tonight: hate speech and artificial intelligence, referring to the development of computer systems that can perform tasks typically assigned for human intelligence, such as learning, reasoning, problem solving, and decision making. I think with that, we already know what we are talking to. That was the theme yesterday: hate speech and artificial intelligence nexus, building coalitions to reclaim inclusive and safe spaces free of hatred. From your explanation, it sets me thinking. And what was it that sets me thinking? That artificial intelligence is a communication tool that has done good. It has its positive dimension, no doubt about it, helping us to perfect our communication skills and to do more research to facilitate human life or human existence. But at the same time, also bringing limitation from the point of view, it has rendered human persons not making use of their full capacity of the intellect to reason above them. So that's why more often than not, if you tell a China to spell some words, they'll go immediately to their phones to type. How is this word spelled? But whereas in
our times, you could use your God-given knowledge naturally
without resource.
And one thing is that sometimes if you are not smart enough, if you think that you can just go and copy Mr. AI's English and paste somewhere, then you are very stupid. Because sometimes the way it structures its English, if you have completely sold out your God-given knowledge, then you will just feel that everything that AI says is perfect. Whereas to me, it is not perfect.
It's not the case.
It's not the case. But to on the other hand, it helps you to understand new concepts. It helps us to understand new concepts, new theologies, and all of that. Okay. So much such that if there were maybe something that you've never heard before, or an imagination, there is nothing you ask him that he will not give to you. So I think in that aspect, the guy is doing a very great job. He's doing a very perfect job.
Okay.
But that we rely on it to say we want to focus all our learning on artificial intelligence. I think it even limits our research capacity. So to me, if we were to use artificial intelligence to see how we can combat hate speech, okay, we should be okay. What are the various ways through which we can combat hate speech? What is hate speech? What are the various international conventions, the various national laws governing hate speech, and all of that? What can institutions do? What can communities do to combat hate speech? So I think in the course of using artificial intelligence, we have to be very positive about it. To see how we can use artificial intelligence to contribute to the peaceful community that the world is craving for. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. Use artificial intelligence to contribute to the peace building that the world is craving for, is what Madame Juliana Yuven is telling us tonight. But Pope Francis of blessed memory, prior to his death, wrote elaborately about artificial intelligence.
Okay.
And for him, he referred to it as machine learning from the point of view that, yes, it is good to help us to become better persons in society, but it is limited also somehow, and that is why he talks about the reasoning of the heart.
That's it.
Pope Francis, which means machines do not feel. They may reflect, help to manipulate or to think as the human brain will manipulate, but they do not feel because they're machines, that artificial things. Human beings do feel. And that human touch makes a limitation somehow to that. Blaise Pascal, the French philosopher, talks about the reasoning that surpasses all other reasoning, and that is the reasoning of the heart. Since machines do not feel, it means although artificial intelligence is very, very good, it is somehow limping because it does not. Machines
Father,
will
please
never feel.
let me cut you short.
Okay.
Yeah, I think yesterday I came across somebody's status with this robot. They call it
Robotization.
no, they call is it cat cool, whether they said cat girl or cool whatever. All
Okay.
these Elon Musk's
Okay, yeah,
yes, all this is robots that
Yes, his innovation.
So in that particular video he was explaining how why can't you just sacrifice and buy the cat girl of whether it's how much $billion. It's very peaceful, it has a human capacity, it can bear children, it's not stubborn. And when I looked at it, I say, oh, these technology guys are gradually defeating the purpose of
Exactly.
creation.
Yes, that really.
Because now when a machine gives birth to a child, that is robot child. When a machine gives birth to a child, the child will naturally come out. What is how does the natural brain, how will the natural brain operate? It means that everything has been wired to work electronically, programmed. You can get married to it, according to how this guy was explaining. You can get married to it. You will never have any stress. According to them, us women, we are troublemakers. Giving, so it's an encouragement for men to buy all those robots and they will be free from some of these marital dramas, and all of that. So when you look at it, the question after watching it I asked myself was, okay, now where is that natural love, the God's love that he has given to us, his children?
Exactly.
To an extent, yeah, we are being used. It's the human mind that is working to develop that. But to me, as an individual, it's somehow challenging. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, nations never feel.
Yeah, it's challenging God's purpose for creation. It's challenging. Because just imagine if everybody were to, or maybe the rich people, if they were to tend to be using all those robots, they can buy them, they can do this, they can do that. What of those who cannot afford it?
Anyway, that's a question that our viewers may answer. But
Yeah,
even
what's
at
the
that,
question? Sorry, what will become of those who cannot afford it? Because it costs a huge amount of money. So if you can afford it and I can't afford it, or maybe you say, okay, I want to employ a robot because a robot will be, he or she will be positioned to be very result oriented, produce reports on time, do this on time. You will not have some kind of human challenges, human limitations. So it means that the workforce or the labor market will now be taken over by the machine.
and that is bring also Marxism, Karl Marx, and the rest.
The
Those who are
capitalists
capable,
and
the capitalists and the
exactly.
rest. But even at that, it's true that it will get to that the poor ones and the rest may not be able to afford. But those, even the whole world is rich, there's still limitation to it because
course.
machines do not feel.
That's
And
it.
with that, we will not be capable of putting a human touch to human existence, which
Exactly.
God wants us
Exactly.
to go from that perspective. Without wasting so much time, at least with your viewers, we are very familiar now with the term hate speech and artificial intelligence. Now, countering hate speech, building peace with words, how to counter hate speech in our daily life is our topic of discussion today. We have defined what hate speech is all about. Artificial intelligence coming from the theme of yesterday's celebration, which we are debating today, or we are discussing today. How can we really practically counter hate speech? I will say, before giving you the microphone, Madam Juven Juliana, to say that our lecturer in the seminary Father Robert Tungwe. He taught us philosophy of religion, Nicomachean ethics, Aristotle, and other disciplines, logic, before we enter the seminary even. He's a priest for the Diocese of Manfi. There, he made use of the fact that there is a notion of technological imperative to say that it's not what is we can technologically do that must be done if the ethical dimension of it is wanting. Yes, that is what he made us to understand. And I think it goes there even with artificial intelligence. Yes, it is good, but the ethics of it will help us to shape things. So much of that is to help us to become better persons, but it will never replace the human person.
Not at all.
Because it is machine learning trying to do what humans do, but since it does not feel, it is limping. And the reason of heart always goes beyond. So how can we really counter this hate speech? You presented your case, you went there, you'll be 2017, and those from the sour side, those watching us now, southwest, they say, hey, the graphics have already arrived there. If you go to
les anglophones là.
No, you know, our southwest, the number of French, they cannot speak that way. It's when you go to the littoral and the center, they say, well, le Bamenda, so that is hate speech.
That's hate speech.
Somehow, that makes those persons to enter within themselves and not express themselves fully.
Yeah.
So how can we really counter hate speech, given that we celebrated the World International Day yesterday, in a practical manner, give concrete ways that we can counter this hate speech that can help us to build peace with our words?
I think, first of all, I want to appreciate this particular program because I know that it has a wider coverage. And based on that, I think awareness raising, continuous awareness raising, sensitization and awareness raising campaigns are very important to educate the people on what hate speech is all about and the choices of words that we should use as children of God to live in peaceful harmony among ourselves. I think this particular program should not just focus on waiting for the next year celebration of the International Hate Speech Day, but I think it should be done on a regular basis so that people can gain that awareness and know what hate speech is all about, and from there they can they will learn how to speak non-violent communication. They call it non-violent communication. And if people are continuously sensitized and educated, even in churches, they can see, the priest, you are a priest, you can see how you integrate hate speech preaching during your mass celebrations and all of that. Churches are a platform or a media where people gather to learn positive things, to learn communication from the heart, just like you were saying. So I think if we continue to raise awareness at the community level, at churches, in schools, we are helping to solve this particular problem. And honestly speaking, hate speech has destroyed so many people. It has even this younger generation. You hear what comes out from a young child, you begin to wonder at this age, this child is already voicing this kind of things. What before this child reaches our age, what will become of them? And that is why you see a lot of violence, extremism. Somebody say your mommy, they don't know that is an insult, and then maybe you say my mommy or your mommy. I cannot bear that insult. Why should you insult my mother? Piam. We hold fight. We are fighting, and from there we become enemies. You see a student challenging a teacher, or even a teacher uttering such negative words on a student. You are too foolish, you are this, you are that. I think it's lack of awareness. It's lack of awareness. And it's important. If I were to advocate, I would even say maybe in the human rights curriculum at the primary, secondary school level, they should start teaching our children some of these things. They should start teaching our children. Let them know. If you ask maybe some secondary school students what is hate speech, they can be able to deduce from the word hate and speech. But what are the implications? What are the consequences? What is the impact of hate speech? they might not necessarily understand. Sometimes they say those words and they just take it for granted. But even if they take it, even when they take it for granted, there is already that negative stimulation within you.
Yeah.
There is already that negative communication, and it soils relationships. So I think the government should do its best to see how it can incorporate school curriculum in hate speech, and pass it on to from primary to secondary schools. At least those students from the university, they are already fully matured enough. But I think if they start from the base, as these children are growing up, it will help to minimize. At the community level, we have our traditional rulers. They can do their best to sensitize their communities. I remember back then in SAW, before the Anglophone crisis, whenever a message comes from the palace, it's never taken for granted. There was a time, I think I was still in primary school, when they want to chase evil from the community, the phone will first of all say a word. They used to say it, let me just say it the way it used to. Bu'uwa shasha no. Bu'u is like a problem. It's like a trouble. It's like a curse.
It should pass away.
Yeah, so when the phone immediately he voices out from the palace, the chindas will carry out, and then they will be ooh, as they are saying, it is passing and going and going, and the echoes are going, and the echoes are going, and the echoes are going until it goes out of the Mbiamelan, until it goes out of there. So I think even our traditional rulers, they play a very important role to maintain peace within our communities. And if they can also learn on what hate speech is all about, they can as well use it to counter hate speech within their communities and promote, peaceful cohabitation.
Yes, thank you so much. I think you have done so much elaborately on how we can counter hate speech to bring about peace with our words. And one of the ways you did highlight is raising awareness and sensitization campaigns that can help not just in society but even in churches, to help us to come to the awareness that what we say affects persons, communities, and so on and so forth. Thank you so much, Madam Juliana Juven. If you are just tuning in on to Divine Mercy Radio Television and the program Beaming Live is Mountain Echoes, the topic of discussion is right there on your screen. Countering hate speech, building peace with words. How to counter hate speech or hate in daily life. While you were talking, I was struck because we may have the impression that this hate speech is just about a particular group of persons. But it's true, you mentioned that it happens even at homes. You say a mother insulting the child, good for nothing, and the rest, and the child becomes good for nothing. And when the child becomes good for nothing, they move from church to church. Say that it can help my child, then nothing is moving. Whereas the person uttered those words, hate speech, to bring curses on, to rain down curses on this child. But the tendency is always to think that perhaps, as we said in Graphy, that perhaps hate speech is always just from those who are from the northwest, the Graphy side here, and they face hate speech from those in the southwest or from those in the French-speaking regions of Cameroon. But at times, even among the Graphy people, we only find the hate speech there. Why do I say so? You move into the northwest region and you say, Jovendra Bena, say the man is an outsider. He may not get it because you're speaking the vernacular, but that is his speech. We are all human beings, creatures of God. It's true, that is the word to refer to strangers. At one point, he said that since he's not our own, we should treat him this way. Which means it's not one-sided. It is a two-way traffic. Which we all must struggle to combat that, so as to make our nation and our world a better place to live in.
And
I don't know if you have faced that even from our own side.
Exactly. Those from, let me just say, from Kumbo.
Okay.
Yes, they always feel like they are too superior because they are in the headquarters of the Bui division. They always feel like they are superior. And those from the suburbs, those from the suburbs, you hear them, instigating a lot of hate speech against them and all of that. So I think hate speech is not just a region by region. It is even in our own houses, just like families, I said. Yeah, in families, just like I said.
Yeah, okay.
You can bring in somebody's child because that child is not yours, and if a child commits a very minute mistake, you use a word, that can make that child to feel bad. So it's not just the fact that it occurs from region to region or country to country, but I think it's I don't even know what to say, but it's very common.
Yes, thank you so much.
Among friends, it's very common. You have a group of friends. Some always feel like they are too inferior because they can meet up in one way or the other, and they look at some who are still like they are not up to standard and all of that. So I think hate speech is really a social ill that we need to kick out from our society.
Yes, it's a cankerworm eating up our 21st century, which we
have
must
to kick it out from our society.
As Madame Juven Juliana is telling us today. Countering hate speech, building peace. True, we need to kick it out from our society. What is, apart from raising awareness, Madame Juliana Juven, and sensitizing persons or sensitization campaigns, even in churches and the rest, are there other ways we can see how to combat this hate speech? That is the first question I'm asking you. But the second is this. When you look at our tribes and various denominations, I'd like to fall back from where I issue from the northwest region of Cameroon, Bui division, Kumbu subdivision. Lamso is my tribe. And after seminary studies, philosophy, perhaps in Bambui, first, second, and the third, it's only the third year that they knew that I was from Seoul. And because I started participating in the traditional dances for entertainment when visitors came in the seminary and the rest. And they said, hey, why are you, I know from Southwest, why are you joining these Kumbu people?
Okay.
I said, no, I'm a Seoul person. They said, hey, are you sure? They said, but you don't have the Lamsa 2.
That's how they call it.
They said 2. I don't know if that appellation...
Let me tell you something, Father. Whether you have it or not, it is what identifies you.
Where you're coming from?
Now, let's go to Nigerians. There is a way an Igbo man speaks that identifies and separates him from a Yoruba man.
Okay.
So if we were to go to the Western world, I was surprised. Unfortunately, I don't even know the countries, but I used to feel that these people with red skin, they are very perfect in speaking English and all of that. Not until I met one who could not even say a word in English.
Okay.
Now, when you see them, will you, if they want to struggle to say a word in English and they are not able to say it, or say it in a way that you think is best for you, are you going to mock at him? Are you going to laugh at him? And by the way, is English language my dialect?
No.
It's just a borrowed language. It's a colonized language.
Exactly.
It's not my language. So whether I speak it good or not, it should not be your point of concern. It shouldn't be something that you can use to minimize me.
That's true.
English language is not your dialect. It's not my dialect.
We have
to those of them who speak it so well, it is not their dialect. It is a borrowed language. And that is why wherever I go to, be it at the international conferences, I don't like when people address me as Juliana. The best name I love to be called is Juven, because it identifies me. It identifies where I come from.
That's true.
So when you call me Juven, it means that you know where you know where she comes from, and it reminds me of where I come from.
It's your identity.
My identity, my culture.
Which means even what the comedians do here and the rest, it's to denigrate the human person.
That is it.
They say, hey, those always did this.
And so what?
Those from Libya always pronounce this.
That is it. And so what?
Those from this.
Is English their talk? Exactly. English not their country talk.
Okay.
It's not their country talk.
It's not.
You have your dialect, I have mine.
Yes.
It's just unfortunate that we are so diversified.
Okay. Yes, above 200
250, and it gets us confusing.
That's true.
When you look at a country like Rwanda, they have their national language
we may get there someday.
Binds them
together.
Which binds them.
Okay.
They are not fond of speaking English. If they want to call rice, they'll call it lice. But now when you understand that that is how they talk, are you going to mock at them because they don't have that R or the L in their tongue? You cannot do that.
You cannot.
You can't do that.
Identify them as a person.
It identifies them. It identifies them as a people, and just their national language alone, it unifies them.
Okay.
And I think it's the other day I was discussing with a friend. I say, wow, just imagine they have to struggle to make Cameroon really one and indivisible by coming out with a single. How are they going to take to kill?
It would take longer.
To Lamso, Bali. They have their own. Batibo, they have their own. Ngokitunya, they have theirs. Nkambe, they have. Whom they have. Oku, they have. So you can imagine. So just by our differences in languages, it's already a kind of it already shows a kind of disunity among us. Okay. To me, yes. That is my personal opinion.
No, thank you. I think I'm very.
That is my personal opinion.
I love your personal opinion.
Yes, it is my personal opinion.
Passionately.
So whether I say I want to call my name or I want to say whatsoever, and I do not pronounce it in a way you think is best for you. And let me ask you a question. Do you even think that in a vocabulary and whatever, sometimes they want to say come, they say came, yeah. Or they say come. Or there are certain they say run. If you want to follow by by phonetics, if they say run, it means that you are supposed to put R and O in the middle, not even the U. So me who has that U sound, if I say run, what to do? You understand? What happens?
Very true.
So it is not my fault. And to whosoever that thing that wherever you come from, if you don't speak good English, you don't belong to the society. I want to say shame to you.
No, very true.
Yes, I want to say shame unto you.
So let's avoid.
Really, we take foreign civilization, yes. And we want to make it override.
Yeah.
What is
ours?
I mean, I cannot do that. I cannot do that, and that is why my identity then stands.
Yes, it's true. I will say there's some sort of influence of Western imperialism per se to sort of are inferior, and that which is foreign is that which is always superior and the best. So when let's just avoid these denigrating languages that insult people, graffiti people.
Come on.
They say Bangwama 99 cents. Those are denigrating words.
Those are denigrating.
Identify where we come from. Lebang, Lewonso, Batibo, Basa.
And even when they want to say, you look at Bangwa people, they are very intelligent. They are just being smart. They are just being smart.
Okay.
So if you are not smart enough, if Bangwa man uses his 99 senses and overshadows you, what is wrong with that? They are just being naturally smart. They are naturally smart persons.
Okay.
Yeah. So don't think you who is coming from whichever region because you can speak perfect English, of which is not even all the English that you speak better than others. You think you can use it to downgrade another human being? Then shame on you.
Yes, I think Aimé Césaire, in Negritude and other African philosophers have said we should return back to our roots.
That is it.
Yes,
I don't joke with where I come from.
From our roots, we are
proudly
so. I cannot be there. I cannot speak Lewo. I cannot speak by my tribe, Bamileke, Buddha, Basa, but I can speak French or English. Then I am not who I am supposed to be.
And then when Father, I used to get so mad.
Yes, I'm very passionate about it.
Honestly, it pains me.
Okay.
Yes, there are international languages that you can easily use to identify yourself. But how comes that even back in our homes, they used to have the National Day of how do they call it? It's not bilingual. The national mother tongue.
Mother tongue day.
Yes.
Okay.
They used to have it. So do people think that the government is very stupid to say we want to designate this particular day just for the dialect? The government is not stupid. And then those of us, you have a child who can speak the dialect, and when the child is speaking the dialect, you are laughing at that child. Look at that he or she is, man. I don't know. It pains me.
Yes, even in homes, people come as house helps and the rest because they cannot speak English and French. You see other children.
What are they doing with English and French? As long as you say you tell me good morning, well and so what?
Which is not good.
And so what?
Because it kills them.
If you cannot if I cannot and so what?
Okay. No, thank you so
much. So you that you can pronounce. How are you better off than me?
No, nobody's better. No, Professor Paul Nkwi is an expert in culture and perhaps psychology. He says there are no superior cultures. No culture is superior than the other. Every culture has to do with a borrow and a take. which means we are there to borrowing from other cultures and making ourselves better too.
You may
So
not
we
know
should
what the
put a
ancestors
finger-
were doing when they were instituting their culture.
Exactly.
It's what they had in mind at that time.
Yeah.
So the ancestors of Bakweri land, when they were doing that at the particular time, they knew that it was very best for the Bakweri people.
Exactly.
For the Nsor people, when they were doing it, the masquerade, the whatever, they knew that at that point in time, it was just the best
For them.
thing that could identify
them
the
as a
Nsor
people.
man
Okay.
as a people.
Okay. I now get
So
it.
how can you tell me your tradition is better off than me? Do you know the purpose why they made this thing to be this way? You don't know it. So respect your tradition in a way that you can, and allow me to respect my own.
Okay.
Do not insult my tradition.
No, thank you so much, madam. You are speaking and learn regarding that. Let me just read our contribution from our viewers. If you have any further contribution, you can send via the number you find on your screen, normal SMS or WhatsApp, regarding the topic of discussion, which you find the countering hate speech, building peace with words, how to counter hate speech in daily life. We have here a contribution coming from Richmond Bong from Moyoka. Now, as a young Cameroonian, I see how hate speech spreads like wildfire on social media, especially among us, the youth. Most times, it's out of ignorance, peer pressure, or frustration. But we must understand that hate speech can destroy lives and communities. It's our responsibility to stop sharing, liking, or posting anything that promotes hate. Let's choose peace over popularity.
Exactly.
I wish you ask Madam in the studio, that is asking you, Madam Juven, Juliana, in the studio, that how can we avoid hate speech even from our homes? Because sometimes our parents insult their neighbors in a hateful way, making us to pick it up and grow with it. So that's the question to you, Madam.
Yes, I will still go back to the fact that we need to be educated on what hate speech is all about.
Okay.
We say all of these things because we are ignorant. We do not know the gravity of those words that can cause pain to our children, community members, and all of that. So I just think that it's very important that to whosoever that is watching this particular program, take it as a food for thought to always remind your parents. I understand. I always say Cameroonians are very aggressive. If you have not insulted your child, that you're big head. So I was telling a friend today, I say sometimes this insult that we lavish on our children, if they were to just stick on them, sometimes you see your child on the road, you will not even identify that child. You insult. Yeah. So I just think that we have to refrain from such behavior. It's not good.
Okay.
It's not good. Even sometimes you see parents quarreling and fighting at home. It's because mama wanted this and asked papa, and papa responded in a way, or mama asked in a particular way and papa could not bear it. And before you see it, they are quarreling, they are fighting, and all of that. So in all, hate speech instigates violence.
Okay. No, thank you so much. I think you have answered the question of Richmond Bong, who is asking the right away from Moyoka. But there's another contribution coming in, which I will read, still regarding to your person, Madam Juven Juliana. I think countering hate speech should start at the level of our families, schools, and media. We have normalized insults and tribal jokes so much such that we don't even realize when we are spreading hate. Words are powerful. They can either build peace or ignite conflict. Let's use our platform to promote understanding, not division. Kudos to the lady speaking. She's very intelligent. I'm learning a lot from her. From Regina Ngwamesia in Yaoundé. Wow. That's a contribution from. We say thank you, Regina Ngwamesia in Yaoundé, for contributing to this. It's not a question that she asked you, just a contribution that she's very happy with your contributions throughout this program. So let's drift a little regarding this. We have spoken at length about hate speech, countering hate speech, and building peace through our words, and how to counter hate speech in daily life. Now, remember, there's countering hate speech, then building peace with words. About peace, we're in crisis since 2016. 16, 17 till date. Until now,
we are still in the crisis. We are still in a very active crisis.
So there is no peace. And you see, more this thing is being inflamed more often than not by hate speech, or the type of communiques that is being passed across on social media, or even among persons, which keeps igniting the flame which is there from the charcoal. how can we really, given this almost 10 years of this conflict, through country hate speech, build real true peace and true peace in our nation Cameroon and in the world at large, as per your own perspective?
If I were to revisit the history of the Anglophone crisis, I don't want to say the government has failed.
Okay.
I don't want to say so, but if there is a better word I can use, if I don't have a better word, I will still just navigate around this particular word. Why? Because when this crisis started, there was a way that our government could do to solve this problem. When this crisis started, there was also a way that the opposite voices could do to stop violence. And now, because of the failures from both parts, we are still living the consequences of the crisis.
Okay.
And now the question is, how do we solve this problem? Even the opposite voices, they are promoters of hate speech.
Okay.
Even our own that is supposed to protect us, they are a promoter of hate speech.
Okay.
And so therefore, when you want to look at it, you see that, okay, it is not just hate speech does not just operate among the lay person. It is also operating among the authorities. And if we could, I remember, I cannot really trace it, the video or whatever, but I remember that there was a video declaring war, publicly declaring war,
yes,
to the English-speaking zones. Why should a government declare war openly to a minority group? Is it called for? It's not called for.
It's not called for.
And then now, even to our own brothers out there, the opposite voices, whom we can say, okay, maybe they got into this war because they wanted to protect us. They are instigating, they are inciting pain, violence, killings, and all of that. How is it helping to resolve this problem? Families have gone, friends have gone, parents have gone, children are suffering. If you go to communities like communities within most communities within the Moyoka subdivision, you will see that they are completely empty. In October last year, I went to Nso, right to the village Mbiame, my village, to bury my dad. Okay. And if you could see a community that was once booming, each time somebody leaves that you are going to Nso, you are so excited, you are happy that you are going to your fatherland, you are going to your motherland, you are going to your homeland, but you see everywhere abandoned. You want to ask this person, he was killed. Why? Because this other team thought that he or she was a black leg, or he was supporting this one. And the question I'm asking, if our brothers out there are listening, for how long will this continue? If our authorities are listening, for how long will this continue? Now, if we have laws that are criminalizing hate speech, if we have set aside an international day to combat hate speech and promote peace building, why can't our own government, which is like our father, not look for possible solutions to come together and see how we can put an end to this? Back in was it 20 when we had the first national dialogue? That national dialogue received a lot of criticism. Why? Because they said it was not inclusive. Okay. Now, if that national dialogue was not inclusive, why didn't the government look for ways? Because the government has the ambit to solve this crisis.
Yes, in a minute even.
In a second.
Yes. Okay, yes, a second.
In a second.
A minute is too lengthy.
Yeah,
okay.
In a second.
Okay.
And then sometimes we hear our ministers talking and saying there is no crisis. In fact, in a one of the platforms that I belong, they said they went for I think it was a meeting in Yaoundé, and a minister stood up and was claiming how we have roads, tar, this, that. and they mentioned, I cannot remember the community along the Mamfe area, but what got me so disappointed was this road leading to Motengene.
Okay.
Do you often?
No, I apply the road. Not that we don't have those good cars as top officials.
Is that road fixed?
No, it's not fixed. Anyway,
those are things that get people angry, and for the civil society actors that were there, they got angry because they are living the reality and they see everything that is happening.
Okay.
The other day I said, why can't, we have just basically how many months to elections, and nothing is said about the route.
No, I believe that personally.
Indirectly, that is a kind of hate speech, because to me, I can reason it out that you people are not up to anything, so we will leave these roads to be bad as it is.
Okay.
That's how I see it. That is my personal opinion.
No, I think, but with the coming of the Prime Minister here in Boya,
yes, let's hope that
the budget has been put for reconstruction.
We hope so. We thank the Prime Minister, head of state.
Things are going to be better.
Yes, we hope so.
Exactly.
We hope so.
No, thank you so much, Madam.
I'm sure that he passed on in this same road and
no,
he saw everything.
They're very, very observant.
Just to crack a joke, I got into a car that was heading to Motengene, and we got along after my 16 market to the police checkpoint. That is just the portion that is too bad. Mm-hmm. And the driver said he had a friend who drives one of these government officials, and when they had a mission here. So when they got to my 16, he made sure that he drives in such a way that the car will hit the ground, hitting the ground intentionally, to see what the government official will say. So to him, it was just his only simple way he could communicate to make him understand that Papa. You say when she don't inside the motor, how you feel? He has the motor the scratch. You don't hit bumper or whatever they call it. Okay. So I think there are a lot of ways that the government can do to appease us.
Okay.
We are already tired of bad roads.
Thank you so much.
Electricity is a problem. We do not even have water. When I came here, they said Boya has the best water source. Now, if you want to go around Boya, you see like 75% are using boreholes.
Exactly.
What has happened to our water that the mountain is naturally providing, naturally supplying? What has happened to it?
No, I think anyway, maybe in due course, but with the election that is coming, I think things will be put in order. It's our hope.
See, I love Cameroon.
We keep being very, very
I am
hopeful.
one of those patriotic Cameroonians that I have vowed that my success lies in Cameroon.
Exactly.
I will not go to stay in the United States. The United States is not my country. I will not go to Canada. Yeah. I will not go to Britain.
We'll die here. Okay, thank you so much. Just to tell our broadcasters behind the machines there that there was this Biaka celebrated Biaka University Institute of Boya. There, Dr. Biaka Memorial Foundation and the Biaka Hospital joined yesterday their voices to that of the international community to say no to hate speech, as the world that yesterday commemorated the International Day Against Hate Speech on June 18, 2025. Staff and volunteers of the Dr. Biaka Memorial Foundation sensitize students on the dangers of hate speech. Let's have this brief report to end our program this evening with Aloysius Like in this story.
Hate speech is not only a denial of essential values of the organization, but it also undermines the United Nations Charter's very core principles and objectives, such as respect for human dignity, equality, and peace. Hate speech not only affects the specific individuals and groups targeted, but societies at large. The devastating effects of hatred is sadly nothing new. However, its scale and impact are amplified today by new technologies of communication nation, so much so that hate speech has become one of the most frequent methods for spreading division, rhetoric, and ideologies on a global scale. If left unchecked, hate speech can even harm peace and development the world over. Reasons why the Biaka Group, made up of the Biaka University Institute of Buea, Dr. Biaka Memorial Foundation, and the hospital, staff and students today joined the international community to commemorate the International Day Against Hate Speech through a sensitization exercise at the campus. Students volunteering at the Biaka Foundation brief students and those writing HND at the campus about the day and the ills of hate speech. Mr. Ngateng Donat is one of the coordinators of the day's activities.
So today the world commemorates the International Day to Counter Hate Speech. So at the Biaka Group, particularly the university in partnership with the foundation, they thought it wise to raise awareness about the ills of hate speech and other vices like tribalism, xenophobia, and things that separate us, and to dwell on what unites us, our cultural diversity, our pride, our individual talents that come together. It does not matter whether you are from the north, you are from the south, you are Anglophone or you are Francophone, you are white or you are black as race. Together, all of us form the Happy Biaka Group, and our mission is humanity first. That's why the top administration, headed by Dr. Mrs. Francisca Hongla Biaka, they thought it wise to bring people together to raise this awareness. We are saying no to hate speech, no to xenophobia, no to cultural barriers, no to cultural differences, and celebrating the values that bring us together.
After joining their voices to the sensitization and campaign against hate speech, these staff and volunteers all outlines the ills of hate speech.
We are putting out a strong message to say that we are against hate speech, we are against tribalism, we are against xenophobia of any kind, because these are things that because social injustice, they lead to things like violence as well. So as a community that deals with people, students, we are just trying to say that we are for togetherness, we are for fairness. We do not look at where you come from, your ethnicity, we don't look at your culture, we look at you as a person, as a whole. So
now we are celebrating this day. We know hate speech is against human rights. And we just hope that all the young persons should understand what they speak to their friends or what they speak to any other person that they meet on the road. Knowing that anything that they tell them negatively, it will always have an implication. So
today, 18 June 2025, we celebrate International Day Against Hate Speech. And this day serves as a reminder for media, civil societies, and individuals to take action both online and offline to identify and stop the spread of hate speech. So my advice to them is that when they are either on social media or on any platform, let them minimize or completely stop the spread of this hate speech, because it can lead to emotional breakdown and violence among.
Words are powerful. They can heal or destroy, unite or divide. Hate speech is not just offensive. It is dangerous. It fuels violence, fear, and dehumanizes others. But we have a choice. We can counter hate speech with words of love, hope, empathy, and courage.
It should be recalled that we may not necessarily behave or act like others or come from where they originate, but we should try by all means to accommodate each other and stop spreading hate speech.
Thank you so much, Aloysius Like, for that beautiful report coming from Biaka University Institute, where they celebrated the World International Day for Countering Hate Speech in their University Institute. I don't know, Madam Yvonne Juliana, if you have just a word, some few seconds to say regarding that report.
Just to congratulate Biaka team for publicly showcasing the fact that hate speech can fuel violence.
Okay.
Hate speech can destroy individuals, friendships, communities. I think if we at institutions, at individual levels, at community, if we can learn from what Biaka Institute, University Institute did yesterday. In one way or the other, we are helping to combat hate speech and build more peaceful communities.
Thank you so much. I think that is very, very insightful. Just to read this contribution coming as we are drawing close to the end of our program. It is coming from, no name here. Cameroon is a country with so many cultures and languages. That is our strength and not our weakness. Hate speech only divides us. We need to start celebrating our diversity and reminding ourselves that no tribe or group is better than another. That's Professor Ponkwi, who is normally saying that no culture is superior than the other. Peaceful words build a stronger nation. Then from today, I'm making a personal decision. This is a person's writing to us here, Madam Juliana, that from today I'm making a personal decision to stop sharing anything that promotes hate, whether online or offline. I will speak up when I hear tribal slurs or harmful stereotypes. It's not about being perfect, but about being responsible.
Exactly.
My faith teaches me that life and death are in the power of the tongue. I believe the words we speak should bring light, not darkness, whether it's political, tribal, or religious hate speech. We must reject it completely. Cameroon is already facing so much. Let's not add fuel to the fire with our words. Thank you so much for your contribution, although we don't know the person contributing, but thank you so much for your contribution. We are happy that you contributed to this program. As we are drawing close to the end of this, we will have remember our topic there, just 2 minutes to go. Countering hate speech, building peace with words, how to counter hate in daily life. Pope St. John the 23rd, in his encyclical Pacem in Terris, says, for there to be true peace in every nation, in every country, in every world, 4 things must be observed. There must be truth, there must be freedom, there must be love, and there must be justice. Without these 4 things, even our Cameroonian society, this crisis we have since 2016 may take us to 2090 if these 4 things are not observed. Justice given to each and every what is his or her due. Love, being animated by the love of God in our hearts. Freedom, not coercing people, allowing people to express themselves. And then truth, whenever lies comes in, there will never be true and lasting peace.
Exactly.
And to conclude, when we see that there is always this hate speech and lack of peace in every nation, we need to build our person as individuals by doing what Daniel Coleman tells us in the 5 characteristics of emotional intelligence. Self-awareness, knowing who I am. Self-regulation, controlling myself. Self-motivation, being motivated not just from without but from within. Then empathy, putting myself in the shoes of the other so that I don't utter those words that hit the other person. Then soft skills, being able to relate with one another in a cordial and peaceful manner. I think with this, our world will be a better place to live in.
Definitely.
So, Madam Julia, thank you so much for contributing so well. You can get even from the contributors of our program today that you have been very insightful to them. Your last words to those watching us now. What have you to tell our viewers as your last words before we end our session tonight?
I think we just have to say no to hate speech. We have discussed everything. We just have to say no to hate speech and embrace love for one another. That's my last word.
We just have to say no to hate speech and express love for one another. That is the concluding word or words of this program today, coming from Madam Yvette Juliana. Thank you so much for your sacrificing your energy and your time to be with us.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I have been Father Alphonse Wongebe for this program, and we do apologize for our other guests who could not make it for reasons beyond their control. But all along, I've been your host, Father Alphonse Wongebe Fonyo, and will remind you and urge you all to remain glued to DMR TV, where we share the light of hope for more beautiful and interesting programs that build you up not just intellectually, but with the heart, because it is the reason of the heart that pleases the Lord more than that of the intellect. Thank you. We wish you all a restful night.